Ching Cafe. My name is Belinda Doveston, and it is great that you are here with me for our weekly I Ching overview for the week commencing the 12th of February 2024. Firstly, happy Lunar New Year, the year of the wood dragon. Isn't that so amazing? Such a wonderful energy that we are working with. There's a new beginning, a new energy abounding if you tune to the Lunar New Year calendar. So as we get going with this week's overview, we of course always cast our minds back. We learn and we reflect from last week. What did we learn about ourselves, about our world, about the I Ching? And we had Hexagram 7, the army, charging, focus, discipline, courage, getting and mobilizing the troops to do something amazing, to get somewhere, good communication, good strategy, good energy, and hustling. Drawing on our own internal reserves to be able to overcome something and achieve something. Plus that interesting energy of Hexagram 23, stripping, cutting down things that are in excess, getting to the bare bones. Protecting the house by taking care of eliminating what is old and outmoded. Cutting it out, getting on, moving on. How did that energy work for you last week? What came up for you that brought your attention to mobilizing your force, getting focused on what is old and outmoded and getting rid of it, cutting it out to protect the entire house? Wow, last week was crazy. The energy of army was just intense. And I experienced this kind of weird thing of like waking up really, really early and being wide awake and having energy the whole day. I was awake at like 4 o'clock in the morning for 4 mornings in a row. Wide awake, getting the coffee, getting going, getting stuff happening. And the week was jammed with stuff. Jammed with stripping. Wow, it was really, really intense. There might have only been a couple of changing lines, but it was really, really intense. So how did that work out for you? What were you mobilizing and working with and tuning into and stripping out the old, moving forward with energy and gusto and vigor? Wow, it was intense, wonderful energy. So this week, what are we working with? All right. So our first hexagram for this week, our focus of change, that is tuning us into that radio station. Where could we focus on something specific that could really mobilize us and overcome some obstacles we're facing? And as hexagram 41, decrease. You know, this is our monthly hexagram. Okay, one of the key themes that across the whole month we're being asked to focus on decreasing excess. And here we have it for this week. Okay, so this week we are being tuned into that same energy. We're almost getting into that monthly energy and we're activating it and we're really working with it this week as we're being asked to pay attention to decrease. All right. I know that, as I said before, you know, we see these kinds of hexagrams come up and we think, no, I want to expand, I want to grow. But these things go in cycles. We expand out and we cut back, and we expand out and we cut back, and we go through this process of tempering our life path and strengthening what it is we're here to do. And this week, cutting back is the focus. This can be on a mundane level, things like cutting spending. I spoke about reducing those subscriptions, right? So go and check out the monthly and re-watch or re-listen to retune to the focus that I brought for the monthly. Cut back expenses, find out where your time is going that needs to be reduced, your money is going, your energy and your care. Those are the 4 things that I spoke about. Look carefully at what is popping up for you this week. Because what happens is there's a mirror process that reflects back up, right? The hexagram like literally emerges out of the soup, the quantum soup. Ooh, okay, decrease. This is where I need to pay attention to decrease. So let your life and your week inspire you with where this decrease is popping into your awareness and getting you to pay attention to it, whether it's in a workplace, in a home place, in your consciousness. Where does this decrease energy want to bring your attention? You know, we often think about, okay, cutting back on, spend, the idea of healthy austerity, cutting back on expenses, right? Getting rid of those excess things we don't need. But it's also about making the sacrifice now for the bigger picture. Think about a bigger project or something that's really important to you right now. What you could do this week, use the energy of decrease to decrease your time spent in things that are peripheral, okay, not core, maybe not as much socializing as perhaps is on your calendar, and then investing your time in what's going to bring the returns later, because this is a key theme of this hexagram. It's about making choices of making a sacrifice with a big S, okay, the higher sacrifice of saying no to certain things and putting off our reward. In a way, it's like those 2 marshmallows we spoke about a few weeks ago. Putting off that reward for a future time to invest in the now, to build. And sometimes it is about spending money, spending or investing capital in things that are going to help you in the future. Okay, so where could your time, energy, money, and care go this week where you focus out the laser beam to build something that's important for the future? And you put down the energy wasters, the time wasters, okay, the binging and all the other things that just consume and eat up our time, and focus on what's really important. I had an interesting conversation with my son the other day, and I said, we all spend so much time on social media, Netflixing, or Disney, or whatever your preferred choice of, binging might be, and we all do it, and it's wonderful to experience, just kind of escaping from real life. But just imagine what we could have achieved as a species if we all just, for a year, put down all that time investment and put it into developing ourselves, or to helping other people, or to writing that book, or to doing that exercise program. What could we have achieved in that time with using that time for something that was more meaningful in terms of transformation? And his reply is, well, we could have found a cure for cancer. Okay, so it's a wonderful story that has literally just emerged in our family, a discussion around what could you achieve if you made the sacrifice now of where you're investing that time. And it could be energy, it could be friends, it could be money, it could be, a whole pile of things for you. Let your life inspire you. What could you achieve by making the sacrifice now, decreasing your spend in some areas so you can increase your value in others? Where do you have to just actually say no to some things, or say no to some sleep, like I had last week, to invest in what it is that you're building? Because this week, that's the energy. We are decreasing, all right, one thing to focus on another. All right, it's a powerful, powerful hexagram. One changing line this week in the 4th position. And this line says we have to decrease in 2 ways. We have to look at decreasing our own internal faults, right? The faults in our personality. We all have them. The errors in our thinking, our erroneous belief systems. We have to decrease the faults and the errors within in order to activate the help without. So there's some process here in this changing line where this week we're all being tuned into that there are some internal faults that we need to reduce to unlock the help of the people around us. Okay. An internal fault might also be some kind of incompetency or skill gap, right? Competency gap, where we are needing to recognize that we have a gap we didn't know, right? We can't assume that we now are experts in the area we aren't, and therefore the help comes to support us. Okay, so we can think about it from a number of different ways for that. The other aspect is we use the energy of decrease this week to get out of situations that are harmful, to get out of connections, to withdraw from things and situations and people and partnerships that are harmful to us. Okay. So that means we need to be quite tuned into our interaction with the world around us and how our movement and connections and involvements and commitments are benefiting or being harmful. And we get out of the ones that are harmful. So this week, we get new energy, we get help, we get movement in this energy of decrease by decreasing our involvement in things that are harmful. Okay. That might be that extra glass of wine. Okay. Whatever that thing is that is harmful to you, it might not necessarily be a person, a partnership, an involvement, a commitment. It might be something that we're doing that is harmful. And right now, what we have to do is we have to reduce our involvement in it. And what this line is doing is it's giving us help this week. It's giving us the energy to say, put that down. Put that time investment down. Put that physical investment down. Put that, energy investment out the way. Release the tendrils of energy. Be hyper-focused on the things that are harmful to us right now. And let's park them. Get rid of them. Step out of them. Find ways of recognizing the harm. And the moment we can see the harm, the moment we look at it and say, there's this thing that actually it's not really good for me. The moment we see it and we give it a shape and we give it a name and we give it focus, it's like it loses most of its energy over us, right? 80%, dissipates. That's not a scientific number. There's a feeling of that 80-20 principle that the moment that you name the thing, okay, and you understand what it is and you understand it brings harm, dissipates its hold over you. And that's what this energy is helping us to do this week. So a very interesting changing line, coming to release us from things that bring us harm. And of course, harm might have a whole scale of implication and gravity to it. Our second hexagram, what is the second flow change, our path to victory this week that we are working with? Oh, yes, it's a friend we know so well, hexagram 38, opposition. Emulsification, and the process of recognizing that in a situation we have diverging interests, opposing viewpoints, we're in a situation we're not understood, we feel opposed, cast out on the outside, unheard, separated, oil and water, separated. We know this hexagram so well of late. Go back and look over the last few weeks, how many times this has come up. We need to emulsify something new. We need to, like I used in the previous example, we have to create mayonnaise, right? We have oil, we have vinegar, and the egg yolk binds everything together and creates something new. So sometimes with this hexagram, it brings to our awareness where opposition is irreconcilable, okay? We are so different. We're on such different planets. There's just no place where our two universes can intersect in a meaningful and useful way. That trying to emulsify just cannot get us what we need. And maybe considering our decrease hexagram and that changing line speaking about getting rid of things that are harmful, I would really encourage that this week we work with understanding the situations where that opposition cannot be overcome. Okay. Only you can look at your own life and look at that situation and say, yep, there's a value system here. There's something here that is so different and so polar opposite. There's just things cannot intersect and interlace. And what do we do about that? So I would say let's dial into that part of the opposition hexagram this week and really work with understanding, is there something we can do here to emulsify, or do we have to accept that there's an opposition that cannot be overcome? But we always keep the door open, right? We always keep the door open, that what we're really being asked to do is to grow up in the situation, which can be about accepting opposition, okay? That can be the grown-up thing to do, but it can also be about pushing ourselves to change the way that we are resolving the opposition, to find new ways of gluing this thing back together again, of finding the common ground, of finding a way to resolve the feeling of just being split in two. And of course, that opposition can be an internal opposition. It can be something that we are learning to emulsify internally. Two different feelings on the same thing, finding a way of internally making sense where we feel discordant internally. Okay, very important to not forget that these hexagrams are not just always about interfacing with an other, the outside world. It can be also completely an internal process that we are working with. So our dear friend, 38 opposition, our other dear friend, 41 decrease, very interesting combo. Let's put it back into a nutshell. Let's emulsify the whole thing. Something that is harmful here this week that we need to deal with and we need to get out of. Decrease our involvement in something that is not for our best. finding a way of recognizing, is this solvable, okay? Or is there something that we can do to emulsify it and move forward? Is there a new way of working that can somehow shift the energy on this process and move it forward? So wherever you feel that stickiness, wherever you feel that dissonance, okay, around this 38 opposition, zoom your energy in working with decreasing the things that are exacerbating that opposition or getting rid of the opposition altogether. Wow, we are all going to grow this week. We're going to do it together. We can do it. Remember to go back to the monthly and have a look at how that decrease is working for us for the whole of February. Good luck with the week. Be awesome. And subscribe or follow if you are new to the channel or the podcast. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.